It's all for you. Yeah, yo. There whenever it matters, and even more when you feel like it doesn't. Protect you so you never feel like you wasn't. Know I'm right alongside you. Either that or I'm behind you, but always got you. End of discussion, nothing means more. First one to offer is shoulders for what you reach for. Thought I saw the eyes of the world until I seen yours. And know that I ain't see a better view yet. I'm with whatever, so don't ever you fret. Know that you covered, not a hurdle or a heartbreak. A change what a partake, cause none of them won't ever get comfortable in your walkway. My job is to aware you, fully loaded, prepare you for all of the above that I'm never letting get near you. But still in all, give you every advantage I found. Couldn't find a better fit for them, along with my crown. And since the baton was passed, I've been down. Cause failing's not an option, and dad is not a noun, not at all.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Ishmael from Dad Is Not a Noun. I hope everyone's doing awesome. Thanksgiving is around the corner. And so I thought, what would be a great conversation to have? Let's talk about friends and family. And I have my co-host with me today, my brother, Boyd Melson. Boyd, what's going on, brother?
How you doing there, brother? Thank you for having me on here. Thank the both of you. Very happy to be here.
Thank you for jumping on, brother. So tell America a little bit about yourself, brother.
So, my name is Boyd Melson. I'm a major in the U.S. Army Reserve. One deployment underneath me, Iraqi combat vet. I'm a retired professional boxer. I do my very best to help champion causes the best I can. I give a lot of my time and my life towards that. And I value myself by the way I treat others.
Definitely. And that's why I love you, man. And that's why we got a history. And I'm truly blessed to have you on, man. That's love right there. And also, I'm truly blessed to have this gentleman on. Not too long ago, we lost a legend, Chadwick Boseman, recently. And it's just been an emotional, roller coaster for the world. And I'm truly privileged and honored to have his big brother on. He is the pastor of the New Covenant Baptist Church in Tennessee. I have no honor than to have on Pastor Derrick Boseman. How you doing, sir?
Great, sir. Great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, sir. How are you doing? How's your family doing? How's it been since COVID?
Man, that's a loaded question. I'm okay. Blessed, still mourning, still grieving, still, of course, dealing with COVID. COVID is like a roller coaster ride. 1 week it's okay. Next week the numbers spike. So it's just hard to get used to living life like that.
Definitely. I have a family picture, as you can see. Can you tell me a little bit about that picture?
Yeah, I can tell you a whole lot about it. I'm probably in high school right here, which makes me somewhere between 16 and 18. Chad would have been somewhere between 6 and 8. Kevin would have been somewhere between 10 and 12. Yeah. Mom looks real young and pretty. She was I always felt like she was the prettiest woman that I knew, growing up as a kid. So my dad had to be a real player to pull her. And then seeing my daddy, it's just, I see my family. Yeah, I see my family.
Definitely. Also, when it comes to your brothers, what was it like growing up with Chad and Kevin when you guys were little?
What was it like growing up with them?
Yes.
It was what I think was normal family life. our household was extremely strict. So it was I think it was stricter than the households of my friends and my neighbors. We used to get teased, at least I did. You know, I was one of those kids that I could go places, but I couldn't just roam. I couldn't just randomly roam around. I had to ask. So you can't just leave the yard because you want to. They want to know who are you with, where are you going, how long are you gonna be gone, when you're gonna be back. So it was a strict household.
Absolutely. Boy, you got a question, brother?
Sure. I'm interested, Pastor, especially the effects on children of life around them. And I'm really interested in what the experience was like for you as a daddy of your children while you had this super famous brother, and then what it was like with your dad having to daddy your children after he passed, please.
So being a father to my kids with him being famous, well, my kids ain't really kids. They women.
Okay.
Yeah, they are grown women, and my sons are also grown. I have two sons also. So my children range in age from 26 to 36. I'm older than I look like I am.
You have
A lot
some
of
nerve. You have some nerve, but you know, I've taken
huh?
many punches in my life, and I'll chalk it up to that not being able to tell. We just took that whole question. I do have another one then. So your brother passed while this experience is taking place that we're all going through together, and what has resulted in families have shrunk to their nucleus, and that's really who you're spending almost any of your daytime with for the majority.
Yeah.
How did that dynamic play out to go up to help you through the evolution of you losing your brother?
The dynamic of
Of
family unity during COVID.
yeah, having to be that way while at the same time you had your baby brother taken.
For me, um, he had a major surgery in March, like right when COVID hit, and he wanted everybody to be there, like all the people who are in this picture. I don't know if you can see that picture or not, but we
Yes.
all flew to LA, and I was on a plane when there were like 5 people on them riding on airplanes. That was my COVID experience. And being there in that situation and in quarantine, it 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 had a profound effect on me. That it actually took me a while to work out of being. I was kind of COVID scared, to be honest with you, because he had just had surgery. So when I got there, I had to be quarantined, and we had to be really, really careful because he was just getting out of surgery. So we had to wear like masks in the house for the first few days of him leaving surgery. And in LA, the 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 COVID numbers were like really bad in the beginning. So, and I'm a person that moves about. Well, that's my personality. So it really, really, really has made me become a different person. It's made me settle down, actually. But with the nuclear family that I have now, after leaving there, because I was probably there for about 3 weeks, and then I came back home, but the rest of my family stayed, and I went back in August. So doing COVID with my family, I have an empty nest, so to speak, but not really. My my oldest daughter is here, and my other daughter that's married, she lives less than a mile away from us, and so her and her husband, and she was pregnant. Uh, she had twins in June, so they would, even though they have their own house less than a mile away, they would spend 2 or 3 weeks at a time here. So and everybody works from home. So we've always been close, but we're even closer now. And during Chad's last week, I think I went out like 2 weeks before he passed, and they came like a week after I did. So all of my children were actually in LA when he passed. I don't know if I'm answering your question or not, but
Yeah.
COVID's made us closer than we already were.
Definitely. And then going back to your childhood a little bit, like who was the jokester in the family? Who was the one who played jokes between you guys when you were young kids?
I'd say it's probably me, because as I'm older, and I still have that part of my personality. I like to joke and kid, but Chad liked to laugh too. Like they got whole videos of him just laughing.
Mhm.
But I would have probably been the jokester. But we were serious most of the time, no. But if there was a joke, it was probably me doing it.
And then growing up with your brother Chadwick, when did you kind of knew that he was going to make it, like he was going to be this big star? When did that moment hit as a family, like we got a major superstar in our family?
Chad is so outstanding. Like there was nothing that he couldn't do. So if he said he wanted to do something, you believed in it like right then and there. So when he went from I want to be a basketball player to I want to be a writer and director, because that's what he wanted to be first. Acting came after that. When he said he wanted to do that, I'm like, hey, he's gonna be the best at it. And when he changed to acting, I'm like, he's gonna be the best at it because he was just that gifted.
Mm.
I
And
mean,
then also the dynamic. Chadwick looked up to Kevin. Can you kind of talk about that a little bit?
yeah, he saw Kevin because Kevin acts also. Kevin acts. Kevin dances. He danced with Alvin Ailey. It's like one of the top dance companies in the world. But as a kid, he would have gone to the rehearsals and been sitting at the back of the theater watching. But his attraction wasn't necessarily what was going on stage. His attraction was the person who was telling everybody what to do.
Hmm.
But he gained that from following Kevin around, or just being the baby riding in the car with my mom. That's where he picked it up from.
That's awesome, boy. What question you got?
How old was he at that time?
How old would Chad would have been? Probably. Kevin was doing stuff from probably the age of 10 or 11 all the way through high school. He would have been between the ages of, I'd say, 7 and 14.
Isn't that amazing what can shape somebody's future forever?
Yeah.
At a young age, just being exposed to it, give them that itch, that little
Yeah.
raindrop. So what do you think? This may be a little bit more of a deep question. I hope you enjoy answering it, Pastor. What do you like? How I did set that one up? That was my better stuff.
You're making me think already.
What do you think a son of your brother would have expected of him? So would be expected to be like or behave, what values and why?
If he had a son, what would be the expectation?
Yes, sir.
Coming from Chad or from
your brother Chad. Yes, sir.
I think he would have just expected him to do his best and to be his best at anything that he put his hand to do. I think that would have been the expectation. So it's not be the best, but be your best or his best, whatever his best was.
What type of kid do you think he would be in high school? He'd be.
Ooh, Lord. I don't know, man, because children can, the Bible says, train up a child in the way that he should go. And when he is old, he will not depart from it. But that doesn't mean that he won't depart from it. He just won't depart from it when he will eventually find his way back. So I was kind of a bad kid, but I came from a good household with good parents. And so if he was like Chad, then he would be good. But if he was like me during those adolescent years, I tried to do everything. I mean, so it's a toss up on how kids are gonna turn out. Because you can actually do everything that you're supposed to do, but the devil can get a hold of it.
So knowing your brother, how would he deal? How would he have dealt with having a son who was a youth?
He would love him. He would talk to him. He would probably lay hands on him, but not to bless him or to anoint him. Because when you got a bad kid, you try everything. I mean, you try prayer.
It's not a noun. That's why it is not a noun. It is.
So that's a setup question.
It is an action.
Yeah. I mean, when you have a bad kid, you try everything to try to get them on the right path.
Definitely. My question to you, sir, is what led you to become a pastor? Because I know you were the troublemaker. So what kind of led you to become a pastor?
I could just tell you the story, and it may sound strange to you. I was not looking for this at all. I was 21 years old. It was June the 4th, 1987. I'm walking home, or I'm actually walking to a friend's house early in the morning, and out of nowhere, this voice starts talking to me. And it's like I could hear it audibly, like you can hear me. And it was also like it was emanating from inside of me. So it was like a surround sound type of a thing. And it said, "Derrick, I have a job for you to do. And unless you do this job, everything else you ever try to do in life will fail. I'll start you out low, but I'll lift you up high as you can possibly get, but you have to let your girlfriend go. And from that, I was already raised in church. So I knew what it was. I was shocked by it, but I knew what it was. I said yes to it. I immediately started reading the Bible. I think I read it from cover to cover over like a 9-month period. And then I went back to being the person that I was before I got called. And probably spent about 5 years going back and forth before I finally preached my first sermon at 26. And then from 26 to 30, I'm still struggling, kind of, and at 30, everything just kind of changed. So it took me a total of 9 years from being called to really, really, really do it like I was supposed to, or start to become the kind of person that I've ultimately become now. It's been an evolution of sorts.
Definitely. And I do believe that evolution prepared you for your brother's death. Do you think so? And why?
I mean, the
Like
evolution of becoming
of a pastor and embracing faith kind of prepared you for, the death of your brother?
I would say yes, because without faith, I wouldn't be able to make it through it. I don't think, even with faith, that first month was awful. Like I couldn't sleep. I would be up all night. And so when I should be asleep, I was awake. And when I was awake, I should have been asleep. And so I was completely thrown off from the daily, from the task I have to do. And it's like I had a hurt in my heart. It was like it's like somebody was squeezing it. It forced me to talk to God more, to make it through it. It was rough, and it's still rough. I was talking to my wife just the other day about, how I'm always thinking about him and what happened to him, and why did it happen, and just the possibility that I don't know if I should say this or not. The possibility of everything that we see or that we saw that could have been other factors that brought it on.
Wow.
And I can't say too much about that yet, but
Definitely. Thank you for opening up about that. I appreciate that. Boyd, you got a question?
Sure. I was thinking, Pastor, and thank you for just sharing what you did. That experience. It's when you said what got you back on track, it was because you heard a voice come and speak to you, and we'll say that it was the Lord, we'll say, or not, but something to that effect. And it just was interesting, psychologically thinking about the power of how someone relays information to another person, and there's an art to it. Because I didn't expect the ending to be on a bad note. You have to let your girlfriend go. And it was amazing because if that same information would have came to you with the first line being, Derrick, you have to let your girlfriend go, and then everything that was said before followed behind it, you would have been you may have been in defense mode right off the bat and not more ready to receive. And you were known, it was made known to you how much you are cared for and loved by this voice, and what they only want the best for you, and this is what the best may look like. Before going in and sharing that, do you ever think about how you may have taken it if they would have opened up by saying, I don't know what your relationship was like with your lady at that time, but just regardless, did you ever think about what may have happened, how you may have taken it if they would have opened up with, you got to leave your lady?
Well, I'm going to answer it like this. I have been married to somebody else for almost 29 years, and she is the love of my life, right? And
you're a brilliant man.
Yeah, right there.
She is the love of my life, and we'll be married for 29 years next month, and we've been together for almost 31 years. So, but to answer that question, I don't think it would have mattered what the order was, because I didn't want to. I wanted to do what he told me, but I didn't want to do that part of it, and I didn't immediately do it. Is the honest answer. I felt like, okay, you said all this stuff, and I know you can do anything. That's been my understanding, and I know that you know everything, but maybe you'll let me fix this. Maybe you'll let me fix this, was what my mindset was. But it's like the tighter I squoze, the more she would slip out of my hands. So I was trying to hold on to something that wasn't meant for me in the first place.
Wow, that's
thank you.
So I was not obedient to that part, what was said.
I'm tracking. Thank you, Pastor.
That's the honest answer. And this woman that I'm with now, I'll show you the picture again.
Let's see it again.
Yes,
the best.
Beautiful.
That you have a reason to thank God every day, specifically for that, for him talking to you.
Yeah, and honestly, the woman that he gave me is tailor-made for me, because she, and I'm not just saying this just to be saying it, she makes sure that I am doing the right thing all of the time, because I have a tendency to I think I might have ADHD. That makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So I'll be doing a whole bunch of things at one time without focus, and she'll remind me of what the focus item is, and I'll get focused. But that's an ongoing job, though.
Yeah, it's your best medicine.
That's right.
That's kind of how it should be. That's what any of us could only hope for, if not have.
That's right. Definitely. And then, with Thanksgiving around the corner, how was it Thanksgiving in the Boseman house, growing up, as well as in adults? And then also, how will it feel like this Thanksgiving not to have your brother around?
Okay, I'm gonna answer the first part first. In the Boseman house, it was preparing to go to our grandparents' house. As a younger kid, we would do, actually my whole life, we would go to usually my dad's parents' house first, and then we would go to my mom's parents' house. So it was Thanksgiving spent with a whole bunch of aunts and uncles and cousins and grandparents. My father had 9 brothers and sisters, so I got a whole bunch of cousins on that side. And my mom had 16 brothers and sisters. And at the mattress house, because the name mattress often gets lost. Everybody's concentrating on Boseman, but at the mattress house, it's like this 3-bedroom house, normal size house. It's a road called Mattress Road. So all the families on this road are mattresses, and, there's like land. There's like acreage of land, north, south, east, and west, as far as the eye can see. And it's just a bunch of kids running in and out of the house, playing kickball and football and basketball and riding bikes and playing dodgeball. That's how we grew up.
Wow.
Not just Thanksgiving, but that could happen on any given Sunday, like the football movie was. It's the thing to do would be to converge on that house, and the aunts and the uncles and their children would converge on that house, and we would just run wild all day. So my cousins were my friends, and still are.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Without spilling the tea a little bit, which aunt couldn't cook? Because there's always one aunt in the family that swears they can cook. Like that one aunt that don't know how to make macaroni salad, but always makes the macaroni salad. Or
the honest answer is all of my aunts can cook.
Good.
I'm not just saying it to be nice, like because my grandmother could cook, and they all cook just like her. It's like all their food basically tastes the same way. You can go to any of their houses, and the way they did it is because there were so many people to feed. They had like assignments on who's going to bring what, realizing that you're going to have to feed anywhere between 50 to 60 to 70 to 100 people, anywhere from 60 to probably over 100 people. And they pulled it off like clockwork.
That's amazing.
Wow, that's amazing.
I mean, there's like
who was there? How do they decide who's allowed to have seconds?
Huh?
How do they decide who is allowed to have seconds?
It was enough so that everybody can have seconds. Jeez. And you can take food home with you.
That's amazing.
Cakes. I mean, it's like an amazing. It's like an operation almost. Yeah, I mean, it's like an operation. Anybody who I've ever taken with me to my grandmother's house, they've been shocked by what they saw. Either they were shocked or they were shocked and scared because there's so many people there.
It makes me think of, was it Roscoe's families with Martin Lawrence? What was it? Roscoe something vacation reunion?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
was it Roscoe. Something.
I have and then the other part of the question: what will it be like without Chad? It's gonna be hard. Yeah, it's gonna be hard because those are the times that you look forward to seeing everybody, But I really enjoyed seeing him. And the biggest part of our relationship was the conversations that we had, the things that we talked about. We would have like really, really deep conversations, surrounded around books, what book I was reading, what book he was reading. We would exchange books, and that was the foundation of our relationship. After basketball went away, it became books. So to not see him again, that's what I think about every day, actually, is like I'll say to my wife every day, my brother is gone. I'm not gonna ever see my brother again. And it's like it's hard to come to grips with that.
It doesn't compute. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
No, because he was so young. He was too young and too healthy and too strong.
Yeah. I try to put myself through that mindset sometimes I haven't lost lost family as I was growing up, but I wasn't really a mature adult when I've lost somebody really close to me that I see all the time, or just get up and call in routine. And I try to imagine what you can't for the rest of your time.
Yeah.
You can't. And it allows me I do my best to try to get in that space, and it hurts. It's a hurt in my stomach when I actually allow myself to really see where they're gone. Like I never get this again. I can't think that way. You have to change it's like it's a new day.
Yeah.
You had your whole life with that person. Now it's the next day, and the part doesn't change. That aspect. I say for like your nuclear family you grow up with, you have 2 days with each of them. Your parents are an interesting one. Well, each plays a role. If you have siblings, it's the day with and without, but then there may come the day you have no siblings. So that's a day separate. And with your parents, you have the day that both of them are there, and then you have the day when you don't have your parents any longer. Those are distinct days that it never gets changed. And I betting it makes you look at your own life and how time has taken you to this space right now where I don't have my little brother anymore, but we were just children. Right. We were just children. Yeah. And it's taken me here now. And I think it gives you a greater sense of this world we live in with the concept of time. And it's really like an illusion at times, where you just saw so much ahead of you, but all of a sudden you're at the end of that segment. Like, yeah. How did I get here? How did this happen?
Yeah.
That's so true, man.
Yeah, scripture tells us that life is but a vapor that goes away like a mist.
That's a beautiful example.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, and then just going off what you just said, it's like time is just like racing. Yeah. It's as if it's moving slow, but it's moving at breakneck speed at the same time.
Amazing.
And the thought that he and I actually had about this time of year, we would always say that the slaves worked all year, right, just to have one day off.
Yeah.
And that it's really the same thing that's still going on. We work all year, yeah, just to have one day off.
Yeah.
When you talk about Thanksgiving and Christmas, 2 days off. Yeah. And then one of those days off, if you don't exercise a whole lot of wisdom, you're gonna find yourself without a whole lot of your money. So yeah, but he came up with that we work all year to be off for one day. And even with him being who he became, he still felt like that.
I have a question, and thank you for sharing that. What do you think is the, I don't know if he ever told you or you just saw him react differently with it. It was the single role character he played that was most meaningful to his own personal life and what he cared about. So you, the names that I know, and if I'm missing any, forgive me, please. You have James Brown, you have Jackie, you have the Black Panther. We'll go with that as a character. Is there any? Did he? Anybody else? Any other character roles?
Yeah, he did.
Thurgood Marshall. Did you say Marshall?
Thurgood Marshall.
Right. So
As far as the biopics, it's those three. Then he played this guy from South Africa in Message to the King. He played a football player in a couple of movies. One a small part, one a larger part. But the role that I heard him say was the most powerful or profound or moving for him was Marshall, Thurgood Marshall. That's the one that I've heard him say before, was the one that. What was your question again?
Which one was the most meaningful to him?
I think it was Marshall. I think it was Thurgood Marshall.
Thank you, Pastor.
Wow, that's this was a powerful conversation. Just very emotional. I got kind of teary a little bit, to be honest with you. Before we come to a closing, can you kind of talk about, without getting into detail, that last conversation with your brother before he passed? Like I said, you don't have to go into the actual conversation, but can you kind of talk about that last, that moment, that conversation you had with him?
The last conversation I had with him, when he was cognizant, he was always there, because he had like a steady decline in being all the way there in his head, because the pain had gotten so great. It was about him accepting the fact that he was no longer going to be here. It was like him accepting that, and him throwing little hints out to everybody. And he talked in riddles usually. You had to figure out what he was talking about, which was easy to do usually for me. For others, it may have been hard. But he said that he was in the fourth quarter and that he needed me to get him out of the game. That was how he told me ultimately that he was tired of being here, and that he himself felt like he was dying. He had spent the whole time in faith, believing that he was going to beat it. But at the end, he came to grips with the fact that he wasn't going to get any better. The medicine had stopped working, to the point that they didn't give it to him any longer. It was just opiates, pain medicine. So that was our last conversation. One of the last things I heard him say, though, that wasn't necessarily a conversation between the two of us, is we were watching footage of the young man. I don't know what city he was in. They got shot in the back when he was trying to get in his car.
Blake was his last name, Blake or Flake?
I think so. And he just looked at me and he said, "We have to do something about that." That's one of the last things. That's one of the last cognizant things that he said. But the But the conversation part is, it was a fourth quarter analogy.
And before we end the show, can you end the show with a prayer as we get ready for Thanksgiving?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. All right, Father, we come before your presence with all thanksgiving. God, we thank you for what you've given. We thank you for what you've taken away, and we thank you for what you've left us with. Father, we ask that you would increase our wisdom, increase our strength. God, we ask that you would allow us to grow closer to you. And God, we just want to thank you, not just for this particular season, but for the many dangers and trials that you have brought us through that we know about. And then, God, you're so good that you don't even let us see everything. You bring us through things before they even hit our front door. God, we thank you for our families. God, we thank you for the means of income that you've given us, God. God, we thank you for our health, for our children, and for our spouses, our significant others. God, we thank you for everything. This we pray to you in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Messiah. Amen.
Yeah. Thank you, Pastor. I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Stay close to your family. Boyd, you got a final word, bro?
Just thank you. Thank you.
For why? What I do? I'm just talking.
Well, thank you for just taking your time with open up with your story and then ending it with a prayer.
Well, thank y'all. Thank y'all for talking to me. This is like a therapy for me.
Yeah.
And anytime you want to come back on and just talk about other things, you're always welcome to come on.
Yeah, and it's like I'm only led to talk to certain people, you know, because there's all kinds of people that want to talk, but I'm only led to talk to certain people, and you're one of those people. So
thank you. Thank
I
you.
hope this found its way into you someplace the same way it did for us. This was very special, and you opened up about the most precious thing in your heart right now to two strangers. So that I understand. And then you gave us a beautiful, beautiful farewell.
all right.
So, yeah, I understand when I say thank you, that's what it's for.
I got you.
And then, okay, sir.
No, I was just wishing Mr. Boyd the best on all the endeavors that he talked about before we started recording. And best to you also, Mr. Street, on everything that you're trying to do. And I hope the people in those stores don't drive you crazy.
Yeah, but I signed up for the job, so someone got to do it. But again, after this interview, we're no longer strangers. So thank you guys for your time.
Right.
Amen.